What up? What up? Welcome to Trading Unfiltered. What up, big guy?
What's going on, man?
It's been a minute. Been a minute. Super nice out. Watching March Madness. Been a good weekend. A little break between the games here, so figured we could do some weekly trade review.
That's right.
And we're gonna try to make this one a little short and sweeter this week because March Madness. It's nice out. I want to take advantage of all those things. So, without further ado, intro.
Hit it.
All right. So it was a slower week in small cap land last week.
Yeah, slow as
So
hell, man.
Yeah, so there wasn't quite as many plays, and I mean there was opportunities, but a little bit slower. I'm not one to typically complain about market conditions because there's been plenty of opportunities.
No doubt.
Um,
No doubt.
but because there was less opportunities this week, I think a lot of us in this niche played the same plays. So I got one that's actually outside of our normal circle. So we're gonna do some trade breakdown, and I gotta show this off because it looks so good. Yeah, and for the record, it's not my trade that looks good; it's that.
I love that.
I do too.
You did good on it.
All right, so let me get into my good trade first and show it's not a small cap by any means. So it's something different than we typically trade. But this was coin, and this was on what 323. So was this Wednesday?
Yep.
Yeah, so Wednesday. So if you remember, you probably do because we talk every morning. But coin on this particular day, I think the day prior, the night prior, or something, had that news about the SEC was getting after Coinbase. Um, basically for not upholding investor protections, and the SEC was going after them. For all those laws or rules that they broke. So because of that headline, which is a major headline, and as we know, crypto lately has been getting hammered pretty tough. So crypto's been getting hammered, and Coinbase had that headline. So this for me was something, and I don't normally trade stuff like this, but this for me was definitely something I wanted to keep on watch.
And just looking at it now, that entry was so solid, like right there on that floor break.
Yep, and that's exactly what it was. I know I'm not a big pre-market trader guy. It's not something I typically do. I am trying to get a little better at it, but there's only certain times when I can typically trade pre-market because I'm getting my kids ready, getting them on the bus, whatever. But in this window here, I had time to get into a trade, and just full transparency, that's full exit because right about there is when I'm running out the door to put my kid on the bus. And target was met at that point anyway. This actually worked out better than I anticipated. But crypto's been getting hammered. Coin had the bad headline, and like you said, that floor is what I was watching. So I was like, all right, it's below VWAP. It's weak. The headline's weak. The market was still weak at this point. Nothing led me to believe that there was going to be any sort of rebound, at least in pre-market. And I think maybe when market opened, this thing did rocket up a little bit, if I remember right, back up to 64, 65 area. So actually covering this full in pre-market worked out perfectly. But anyway, yeah, took the short right there at the floor. And when it broke, and I would have covered if it would have even slightly ramped up above my entry. I mean, I was not risking, my risk was literally a curl back up. If it curled back up, I'd have been out. I got this entry with the anticipation and the thesis of the floor breaking, and that's exactly what happened. Covered actually half here, almost took it all off, but I was like, kids got time, I got time, whatever. So just sat here and watched it. There was no reason for me to cover when it was, there was just no strength on it at all. So anyway, all out, put the kid on the bus. Good trade. And this was strictly a news play with a little bit of a, like I said, like you said, floor break. Pretty cut and dry. This was not an overthought thing. It was either going to work or it wasn't. Like I said, I literally would have covered on the curl.
This
So
is solid, man. I really like this trade.
yeah, this was actually one of my better ones for the week. I mean, I got short here right at 67 and covered half at 65 and covered the rest down about 61 ish. The first half obviously got out a little bit early, but I was covering right into what I thought was going to be some support here. I thought it might hold up in this area. So that's why I covered half. Of course, it didn't hold up. It just continued to fade down. But anyway, worked out nicely. Pretty cut and dry. Literally was risking like 50 cents. I got in at 67. I'd have got at 67.50. I'd have been done because it's not in my wheelhouse. So it was either going to work or it wasn't. And that was it. So that's my good one. Real quick, I'm going to show my bad one. And I'm also going to show the bad one because this is also something I normally don't trade. This was from Friday, right? Yes, this was Friday.
It was Friday.
And actually, I think coin was from Thursday. Either way, whatever. I know this was Friday. This was the only day one gapper that popped on my scanner Friday. And you and I were talking about it. We're like, it's the only freaking day one gapper. Probably going to be overcrowded. And I typically don't trade those type of things because I feel like they're going to be overcrowded. But this was also a sub 1 mil float. I don't like trading sub 1 mil floats, especially the day ones.
My last max loss was on a sub 1 mil float. So
yeah, man, they're sketchy and it doesn't take a lot to move them. So anyway, I got short right up into here because I don't have a better chart to show, but this thing ran up a week or so prior to this. And this 240 level was a pretty hard level of resistance on the prior run up. So that was my whole thesis for entry. I love my entries. I love this entry. I like that one even better. Felt really good about my entries. And this looks like a really dumb exit because it kind of is. But like I said, I'm not one to typically trade sub 1 mil floats. But the reason I covered all out here is because it ramped up, right? Fake breakout, came back down. Well, in this moment, which you can't tell now, but the volume was still pretty high. And huge bids were flashing momentarily. And this is sometimes why level 2 can be a blessing and a curse. But huge bids were flashing and it wicked down and it ramped back up real quick. So when it wicked down and ramped back up, that's when I covered because I thought it was going to just rip. And because it was a sub 1 mil float, not something I'm super comfortable with, not something I normally trade, I just wasn't real thrilled about even participating. So it faked me out and I got all out. And as you can see, it went lower. And actually, by the end of the day, it went way lower. I mean, I think it ended up going sub 2 by the end of the day. So, yeah, it sucks because I had great entries. But this is one of those better safe than sorries. I wasn't comfortable with it. Not something normally that I trade being sub 1 mil float. So it looks like shit because it kind of is. But I also wasn't mad at it when I covered. I covered, took it off my screen, and moved on. And then I saw it at the end of the day. It faded all day long. But again, no real regrets. The volume here with the bid prop, it faked me out, and it happens. Like
you can't catch them all, man. I really don't think it was that bad, you know.
Yeah, like it was pretty much break even. I think I may have barely paid for locates because the locates on that weren't super cheap because it's a sub mil. And if I was red, it was ever so slight after locates, but. Yeah, the bid action kind of faked me out on that wick down when it popped back up, and it happens. It's part of it. So, 2 trades for me that are both outside of my wheelhouse. I don't typically trade large caps, do on occasion, but that was a pretty heavy news play and worked out. And then that one there is also not something I normally play with the sub 1 mil float, but one worked, one didn't. Both had good risk management and kept it moving.
That's right.
So all in all, not a bad week, but I know you got some pretty solid ones you're about to show.
Yeah, I mean, I'll show my good one first. Let's see here. So, I mean, and it's not necessarily something. Uh, so
Yeah, we both traded this.
very low volume,
Yep.
big spreads, and it IPO'd fairly recently.
Yeah, I think like last week or this week.
Yeah, and
Very
so
recent.
it was. That's usually. I mean, I try to be careful with the recent IPOs, obviously, just because. But I'm sure you remember. I mean, we were texting about it, and I know you made a post about it. I don't remember if it was me or you that said that it was halted, and but I was already like I was ready. I think we had the same idea at the exact same time.
Yeah, we were texting about it. Basically said it was casino-esque play, but again, we don't have a chart to really show this, but literally
I do.
about where oh, do you? Okay, that shows the resistance level across those 3 days.
Yep.
Yeah, because solid thesis. And I mean, we kind of joked and said it was a casino play, but there was a really nice level there for us to play off a risk reward. And it just made like, yeah, look at that. Like,
Yeah. So I mean, look at these levels here.
right.
It's all right there into that same. I mean, you can
Right about 37 ish, 37, 37 and a half. Like, it
yeah.
would,
I mean, between 35 and 37, size accordingly, which that's what we did, and hit it around there. I mean, what?
yeah. And so we say casino esque, but it offered a good risk reward, very clearly defined risk. We both said, okay, if it breaks 37 and a half, we're done. Like, IPOs, we ain't gonna risk a lot. And
Yeah.
but it did work out for both of us because we caught that halt down.
Oh yeah, man. I mean, I remember texting you right after that thing halted down. And I was like, damn, it was quick. I mean,
Quick,
that's the best.
quick.
That is the best way is when it's instant resolution like that.
Yep.
It's
Because
so
we entered
like,
in after it unhalted,
yep,
and
yep,
right after it unhalted, boom, halted down fast.
exactly, man. And I covered half of it right here.
I got all. I think I was all. I can't remember anymore.
I think you
I
said
may
you
have
got it
been
all out like right here at 29.
okay. Yeah, I was gonna say. I know I didn't hold. I didn't hold too much. It was pretty wild. Spreads were ridiculous.
Yeah, they were. And full disclosure, I held a couple of shares. I still have it right now.
Nice.
Yep. I mean, because I was thinking, like you said, man, this thing might go back down to 10, and so
And it still may come Monday.
yep, I'm just holding a little bit, swinging for the fences on those last few shares, just because, man, I had limit orders set to cover some at 25, or
Didn't hit it.
I think I had it like 25.60 or something, and it still didn't fill. I
Yeah.
mean, the spread at one point was like $1.50.
Yep.
It was pretty ridiculous. So that's my good one for this week. I didn't trade that many stocks because of how slow it's been, and that's something we're going to talk about later. But yeah, I'm trying to be semi picky. But here's a
No, I
loss.
think that's good. I think that's good. We might have to get into a mindset of, I always used to trade just the 2, 3 trades a day, especially last year when things were slower. And then it got hot. Then I was trading like 6, 7, 8 tickers a day. Might have to go back to the mindset of 2, 3, even one solid setup a day if things slow down, which we'll see what happens.
Exactly, man. And like with me, I'm not doing a whole lot more besides being at my desk now. So it's very tempting to,
Push them buttons.
yep. And that's exactly what I did here. Uh, so this it's another one, not necessarily in my wheelhouse that much with the market cap. And it was on SSR. And I mean, it's, you know, making a pretty decent move up, especially from yesterday's close or the day prior's close. This was on Friday, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
and I see it make this like, little knife down move, and it's like I said on SSR, I chase it down, and then I add into 180. I'm thinking this is something I used to would have longed. Why am I shorting this? And I I saw it make this move, and I'm like, damn it. All right, well, and so I just when I saw the next candle open up above this one, I just all out right
That's
there.
good. That's good risk though.
Yeah. I mean, I felt like it was pretty decent, and I had a feeling the price action was going to be like this, and I kept it on the back burner and watched it all day. But I'll show you the only other idea I had for it was this 220 level right here, and it's still not really a great level. I think I saw some people that got it. It came within
Yeah, it came close.
3 cents, I think, is what it was. I had a limit order to put some back on at 220. I told myself I'm not going to fool with it. I'm not going to chase it. If it doesn't hit it, it doesn't. And I also wasn't going to stick around long if it did hit 220 and go more than a few cents higher,
Right.
So that was my idea. Like I said, slower market, you start making decisions like that, and then next thing you know, you've made a huge mistake. So
Yeah, it can be tough in a slower time to be disciplined. But yes, like you said, we're going to touch on that in another video.
yeah, I mean, in hindsight, looking at it right now, if you were to risk a break and hold of that and get in at 215, 217, that's a pretty solid move down to sub 1.7. But still, it's really not in my wheelhouse. So I'm glad I didn't fool with it anymore. But the old me would have fought it all day.
Yeah, progress, right? 1% better every day. We're still learning, still getting better all the time, every day. You can't stop getting better.
Exactly, man. Exactly.
But yeah, slower week. So we kept it short and simple because there just wasn't a ton of. I mean, there was some solid opportunities. But anyway, we're trying to just keep it a little short and sweeter today. Because like I said, this is the nicest day we've had all year. It's like literally 80, no clouds, perfect day. Plus March Madness, plus I want to grill, plus I want to partake in other, adult activities.
That's right. Me too.
Yeah. So trade review, boom, there it is. We're trying to get on a better schedule here in the near future where we do maybe trade review one day of the week at a certain time, live every week at a certain time. So we can get some structure, maybe answer some questions, live Q&A, etc. Same for pre-market prep, but we're working out details on that.
Yeah, and let us know if you've got an idea for when you think it'd be best or what y'all'd like to see, whatever. Let us know.
Yeah, we're thinking about Thursday evening around like 7 p.m. market time, which is 6 p.m. our time. That way we keep our Fridays free for all things in life. And then we're thinking maybe pre-market prep Mondays at like 7:15-ish until about 8, something like that.
Yeah.
Morning. 8:15 to 9 market time. But anyway, we're going to iron out those details. Of course, we'll communicate it accordingly. Yeah, man. We'll figure it out. But that's trade review. Ain't done one of these in a while. We're going to try to get better, more consistent, more content, more regularly. But I think that's that. Outro time.
Hit it, man.
Boom. Peace. Appreciate y'all. Like, subscribe, comment, feedback. Let us know ideas, etc., etc., etc. And now outro.